Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and we are back again for another review of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 13, episode 9, and this is called a Fiesty Fiesta. And this was a good episode. It was a little bit of a, it felt like it was going more towards the direction of a filler, but then it did get spicy towards the end. So there's that. But anyway, the episode does start with like a mini Housewives montage with Crystal and her daughter. She's playing on the balance beam in their yard. And then it goes from there to Garcelle and her sons planning out the summer. And then we go to like the main scene. Well, no, we don't go to the main scene yet. And then we see Erika doing a photo shoot for her Vegas residency campaign. And so the episode actually truly starts with Sutton and her blind date. Well, not really a blind date, but her first date that she was set up with through Alexandria, the matchmaker that we've seen. I think it was episode 2 and 3 or 1 or 2 earlier on in the season. And long story less long, there's not going to be a second date. The guy was a super awkward mama's boy who constantly talked about his mom. And mind you, Son's I believe in her 50s. So it's kind of odd that someone who could potentially be in his 50s or 60s is literally talking about his mom constantly. But that's what was happening. And I think if I could say anything, I'm thinking either A, the matchmaker did this for the show, or because she just seems overly happy whenever she is filmed on this show, or 2, she's doing this as like a test run to kind of get Sutton out of her dating shell. Because in this case, it was not Sutton who was awkward, it was definitely this guy. To her credit, though, I should say this. It was nice that she did not leave. The matchmaker actually gave her instructions to not leave and just stay there throughout the whole thing. So it did conclude with her giving the guy like a church hug. But y'all know it's not going to be a second date. Next, though, we have Annamarie with Dorit. First Annamarie shows up first to Kyle's and then Dorit does. And Kyle does have a nice charcuterie board. It looked good. The food looked good. And the ladies are recapping Annamarie confronting Sutton about her esophagus and the comments with that, which is still to me cringe. And Annamarie, in her own delusions, she justifies her act of like that she justifies it saying that it's Sutton's fault and thinks that Sutton needs to take more accountability. But it's like, girl, you literally just got here. You don't know Sutton. You don't know any of these ladies. It's weird. Just saying. So it's just from that to Dorit talking about Dorit adds more fuel to the fire with that conversation and states like, yeah, now Sutton's saying that she doesn't eat, she eats meat now. And it's just like, it's annoying. I'm just going to say this, and it's a kind of a stupid conversation. So, anyway, then Kyle shares about an hour-long show, I guess, that she's putting together work-wise. And Dorit feels away because she didn't know about it. And then, to add more fuel to the fire, Kyle does explain that she actually tatted her first initial on Morgan. And but before she said that, Dorit actually had kind of a sly remark. Well, I guess she must have got another tattoo or something. Which it just felt out of place as she asked that. It felt like it was. I'm not gonna lie. This scene felt really rehearsed. It felt like a super rehearsed scene. Because the flow was not natural. So, and then the tattoo thing got brought up, which to me is silly. Who cares? And then but then Kyle made a point from there to bring up the fact that she did tat her first initial to Morgan. And Dorit feels away. She's saying that. Oh, and then when they do the flashback of Morgan and Kyle, the shady producers pretty much say Kyle's new best friend in quotations, and is like, shady. But in Dorit's confessional, she basically shares that, PK put her name on the arm, put her name on his arm, and she just kind of feels away about it. She's just in her feelings about it. So yeah, that's pretty much where this. Next, we have Garcelle meeting at this place called Classic Cat. And it actually looks nice. It looks like a decent looking cocktail lounge. I think that's what it was. But anyway, and she's meeting Erika because Erika is in full redemption season mode. It is engaged. And you're going to see, though, more will be revealed towards the end of this episode of how much she's really on that path for the most part. She is still her, though. Because that's also going to be revealed too, that Erika is still Erika. But so Erika states in her confessional that she and Garcelle, they used to be friendly when Garcelle first came to the group. But, they kind of got on the wrong track. And to Erika's credit, she said mostly because of her. She does own it by stating it was her fault that they're not as good as they could be. So I do appreciate that she did own it. But then anyway, Kyle shares, Erika shares with Garcelle more about the Vegas residency and how she's super excited because this time around with this residency, it was her who got it together with her and her team without any help from Tom. It was her. So she's very prideful in it and just ready to get back on the stage. I would love to know how it did. And I don't want to watch the spinoff to find that out. Maybe in the reunion, we'll find out how the review did. But I don't know if we'll find out for real, because it'll be Erika's perspective and not actually how it did. But anyway. So, as we're talking about this, Erika asks who's coming to meet them because they do have like an extra space there. So it's clear someone's meeting them. And she does guess, she's first guessed as like Denise. And Garcelle's like, no, it's actually not it's not Denise. But she does say that, hey, Denise will be there on Taco Tuesday because the major event that's going to be happening during this episode or towards the end of this episode is Taco Tuesday at Crystal's. And because y'all already know, if these ladies do anything, they do get-togethers and parties and dinner parties. That's what they do here on Beverly Hills, which I'm not mad at it. I would love to just meet once a week with my girlfriends and have these cool dinner parties or like gatherings or whatever. So I'm not mad at it. But then we find out and we see that it's Crystal's event through the footage. So they show a flashback. Not really a flashback, just like unseen footage of Crystal inviting the ladies to this event. And then we do find out that it's Sutton that's actually meeting them. Garcelle wants to bring them together as single girls like crew. And to much of my surprise, it wasn't awkward at all. And they really did organically seem like they were having fun. They were throwing them back though. I will say that. They were getting their drink on, having themselves a good kiki. And so the ladies get litty. Erika brings up the $7 OnlyFans with Denise getting naked. which was to much of their surprise, like, oh. And even like, it's even to me kind of weird because I'm like, didn't Denise Richards used to be a Bond girl? Like a James Bond girl? And for her being kind of known as the type of actress who was known to have a body on her, and she has had semi-nude or suggestive roles in her past, $7 seems like I don't know. I ain't gonna lie, that I feel like if I was to ever do OnlyFans, that would be how much I would charge, not a Denise Richards. It's kind of odd. But anyway, I would never do OnlyFans, by the way. So no, get that out of your mind. And so they get super litty some more, and then Sutton mentions that, you know, because they were lit, you could tell they were kind of a little bit gone with the wind. So I was like, hey, we can use my driver. And Garcelle says, the one that you made out with. And we're like, oh. And they're shocked by this. But remember this being said, because this becomes like such a topic that I didn't think needed to be a topic. But yeah. Sutton was at first embarrassed that Garcelle brought it up. But then Erika was like, child, good for you. Get how you live. Because, I mean, single girl click. Next, we see that Dorit is getting ready for Crystal's event. And from that, then we see Kyle is doing the same thing and FaceTiming Annamarie, stating that she's ready for the Taco Tuesday and that both Denise and Erika will be there. Just, you know, explaining this to Annamarie. Annamarie isn't showing up because she's in Hawaii on her phone. And let's have a conversation real quick. Why is Annamarie considered a full-time housewife on the show? She hasn't brought anything to this show so far. And she's hardly in... She didn't even show up on this show until episode 6. And now she's not even on this episode. Why are you a full-time housewife on this show? I don't understand that. I don't understand how she became full-time right away. And she doesn't really have much of a personality, but I will say there is one of Crystal's friends that does have a personality that I would like. Honestly, in the one scene she was in, she brought more than Annamarie did. Just saying. But we'll get there. And so, Sutton is getting ready, and she asks her glam. And then her glam asks why she's looking at the OnlyFans. And we find out that she's crazy. Sutton decided to subscribe to his OnlyFans and support it. Sutton is just Sutton. I don't know what to say about it, but it's funny. She's like, I'm going to support her. I want to support my friends, so I'm going to support her. I was like, okay. And so she's scrolling through. She's like, oh, okay. Because I feel like Sutton doesn't know what OnlyFans is for her. She must not have known. I don't know. That's my only excuse, because otherwise, girl, you are kind of a contradiction. Like, how do you... You're a contradiction. I'll just say that. I find Sutton to be very interesting and kind of a case study. We'll just say that. But so then we see Garcelle and Denise on their way to the event in the car. And Garcelle's giving her the scoop, just stating like, hey, I talked to Erika, and yeah, so, and told her everything that, you know, has been said. And so hopefully you guys have a conversation, because clearly, from the way I'm seeing it this episode, for me, it seems like Garcelle is very much about bringing the girls together. Like, let's piece up the issues and resolve the things and keep it pushing. So yeah. Which is great for a housewife show, by the way. Whether you really do that on your personal time or not, actually, for a housewife show, you need to be able to move on. Otherwise, you have Potomac. Anyway, so then we see that Kyle and Dorit are also heading there. Dorit jokes about the tattoo thing again, but she's not really joking. She's clearly hurt, and it seems like that Dorit is very hurt by the distance between her and Kyle. Because, I forgot to share, while Kyle was getting ready with her getting glammed up for this event, she did share, I think it was either there or when her, Annamarie, and Dorit were together, that she did kind of feel a way about Dorit not having her back as much as she would like during the reunion, because when her and Kathy were going back and forth during the reunion, her sister, Dorit chimed in and said, like, I feel like she just needs to feel more supported. Like, saying that to Kyle about Kathy. And number one, Kyle is not an accountability girl. She does not hold herself accountable, number one. Number two, it's not only just that, but like, apparently we also find out from Kyle, Dorit was singing a whole entire different tune personally, but then aired the opposite, live on TV. So it made her feel away. So she's been distancing herself from Dorit. And you could tell there's been a distance from episode 1. It's been kind of clear. But now we're getting a little bit more layers of why the distance is very intentional, especially on Kyle's end. She's being very intentional about being distant. So yeah. And then next we see that Crystal's getting ready for everyone to come to her place for Taco Tuesday. And let me tell you, that food looked good. So good. And she states in her confessional that she plans to have plenty of food. And she literally has a spread. She was naming all the different meats she had. Duck, chicken, fish, beef, steak. It was a spread. And I was like, oh, mouth watering. And she's like, yeah, there's going to be plenty of food and to-go boxes ready because, yeah, if the food runs out while you're all there, there wasn't enough food in her culture. That's what she states in her confessional. But let me also state this real quick before we kind of go on. Is it just me or... And it was also even alluded a little bit in this episode, but... How, for you having an event at your house, you're hardly even featured on the show leading up to your event? It's giving friend of tease. It's kind of odd. Like, I'm not understanding how that is. Like, I'm very confused. And I want to like Crystal, but it's kind of like... So, Dorit and Kyle, they're first to arrive after some of Crystal's friends arrived. So we have Nia, and then we also have, I think her name was Leanne or something like that. She showed up, and then also Jenny, another of Crystal's friends, show up too. And Dorit shades Crystal in her confessional, and she's like, I'm so surprised how many friends she has, minus the 14. Because last season, there was a whole thing about Crystal not being a really good friend, and she lost like 14 friends in one season. In one like swoop. It was like a debate of whether she lost all 14 all at once, or like in the span of time. And so it was a callback to that. So that's why she said that. But, Dorit, are you jealous? I'm not going to lie. And I'll elaborate further. It's like Dorit is just giving such jealousy tease this whole entire episode. And actually kind of high key most of the seasons lately. Especially this season. She just seems so jealous. So jealous. Jealous of Crystal, jealous of Sutton, jealous of Garcelle, jealous of Morgan. Like, I'm just kind of like, why are you jealous of everybody right now, girl? Like, what is happening? But also too, so one of the friends, Nia, we find out that this is actually Bill Burks, the comedian. It's his wife. So I'm just like that. And so I mentioned before, there is one of Crystal's friends that to me is more interesting. Just the small little interaction that she was on this show than like Annamarie. And it is Nia. And Nia's also melanin, so we'll have the representation. And I don't know, she seems more personable. And, you know, her husband's known in Hollywood or Hollyweird or wherever you want to call it. But the point is, she's a name. She could become a name. You know, she's related to a name. So, I don't know. We could test her out. I would like to see her more than just this event, but we'll see. I mean, she did the time that she was on the screen, she did her part. So, as they're actually talking to Nia, somehow the subject of Vegas comes up in Magic Mike because of the fact that her husband, Bill Burks, like he performs in Vegas. I think he had residency as a comedian. And so, somehow the subject of Magic Mike comes up, and then Dorit literally states all of Sutton's business to this woman. And I'm just kind of like, wow, the jealousy, it's real. And out of place, too. And also, too, you always see Kyle in the background when this is happening. So I'm like, God damn, Kyle would really just be producing scenes, like right in our face. But yeah, so that's what happened there. But initially, Nia, she does decline to produce. She declines to do this because they're like, yeah, you should say something. Like when she shows up, you should say something. That's literally what Dorit said. Like, you should say something. And she's like, I don't think so. But then next we have Denise and Garcelle showing up next, and Erika. Denise talks to Dorit, and when she got home, so she basically states to Dorit, when she got home from the breed party, she had a fever of over 103. And so that's why she was behaving that way. Dorit, including me and probably the rest of the people who watch the episode, none of us believe that. We're just like, okay. And then Sun shows up, and everyone is like literally shading her fashion choices because I don't know when this was filmed. I don't know if this was filmed like in the fall or spring, but for those who are familiar, if you're in like that side of the country or areas where it's a little bit more arid temperature, it's cold in the evening and at night. Like, it's warm during the day, so you can just, wear, your day clothes. But when the sun goes down, it actually does get quite chilly. And so the fact that she's wearing a sundress in the evening, because it's dark outside, everyone else was wearing the appropriate thing minus her. She literally has sundress on, and they're just like, girl, what are you wearing? And so they showed everyone their respective confessionals, like just like commenting on it. It was cute. It was funny. And then next, Kim appears next. So Kim Richards. So episode 3 of a Kim Richards appearance. So that was nice. And then, so now all the guests are there, and they actually end up going inside because it's really cold and everyone was really chilly, and they get to eating. And so Sun is talking to Dorit, and she basically kind of shades her, but it was like a friendly shade, saying like, so you're not going to be hiring Avi. And then Dorit tries to and then Dorit's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't want, to hire Avi. And it pans over to Dorit literally trying to poach Avi. at Sutton's event, like from the last episode. And I kind of chuckled because I was looking at Avi appearance, because Avi, even the way he was looking at the camera, because it's like we're on film, and so Avi's just like, it was quite funny. And then now they're doing this back and forth, and I will say this because this does matter later on in this episode. I can't tell when Sutton and Dorit are going back and forth whether they're really actually arguing or if they're just bantering. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but I can't tell. So, yeah. So, then, basically, Dorit states to Sutton, stop accusing her of things she's not doing. And then Sutton brings up, well, stop accusing me of pouring vodka in my coffee. And then Sutton states, you know what? You shouldn't even accuse me of that because I don't even drink coffee. And they go from serious to like kind of smiling. It's like, yeah, case closed. I don't drink coffee. And so then they kind of, the mood gets lightened up. And then it seems like resolved for the moment. And then Erika states to Sutton that she had states to really Dorit that how her son Garcelle had a nice evening out. And Dorit states that she wished she was invited. And see, again, she sounds like a jealous little girl. Like, this was a singles girls night out. You would have been out of place. Sorry, friend, but this was not supposed to be for you. But anyway. And then jokingly, Erika restates the story about Garcelle letting her, about Garcelle stating to her that Sutton made out with the driver. And it was comical. It was comical. I was like, Erika now. But she didn't do it in front of everyone. But she did do it kind of loudly, but not in front of everyone. Like, it was still among their little group when they were talking. But she just, got a little bit louder with her voice, but not enough for everyone to hear. So we know Erika was doing that to be shady, but she did. Sutton took it with stride. It was not a big deal. Sutton wasn't even really that embarrassed. And Erika shared that she actually was like, kudos for getting some action though. And timeout. So I am going to say this real quick, and it kind of does relate. I did watch the after show of this episode, and the ladies were actually talking about this driver situation. And I don't know what driver is, but because it sounds like some of the ladies are saying that she doesn't have a private driver. I thought throughout the episode that's what it was. But like, because there is also kind of a back and forth, and we'll find out later on whether it was like a private driver or if it was just like a random Lyft or Uber driver, like literally a random driver. But from what some of the ladies said during the after show, they have something called show drivers. So people who basically drive into the events or the scenes that they're doing. And they have a rotation of like 4 or 5 different drivers. So it sounds like some of the ladies might know who this driver actually is, who she made out with. And so I think actually even from how it even looked, like when Erika was kind of like giving her kudos, I think Erika know who the driver is too. Garcelle, it seems like Garcelle definitely does. And so it's alluding in a way that this driver's fine. So they were like, we ain't mad at because you look good. So at least in the after show, it was alluded that way. So they're like, he was fine. So go Sutton. Live your best life. So in the confessional though, Sutton actually kind of goes more into detail about how this happened. She was like, yeah, it just accidentally happened. I accidentally end up going from the back seat to the front seat on the passenger seat. And then I accidentally just end up leaning forward and we end up making out. I was like, all right. And then Dorit asked for more details and Sutton compares it to the show Happy Days. And Dorit's just like, how do you make something that's romantic non-romantic? And it's just kind of like, does anyone else find Dorit confusing? Because at this moment, it's weird to me. Because it's like, it's confusing. It's just confusing. I'll just say that. So then, anyway, we see friendly banter between Kim and Kyle. They're hanging out on the couch, and Kim's being her normal kooky self. And then Crystal goes to the restroom. And while Crystal goes to the restroom at her party, at her house, Dorit kind of has the unmitigated gall to share with Sutton her annoyance with Crystal in regards to stirring the pot. And this is why I mentioned Dorit is literally jealous of like half this cast. Because we find out later on this episode, that's her role on the show. How dare Crystal takes her role of stirring the pot on this show? How dare her? Yeah. So then, Dorit in her confessional, she does make a point though with it. She says like, if she's going to stir the pot, she needs to balance it with something else. But right message, wrong messenger. Because what do you balance your pot stirring with, other than the fakery of it all with you? I mean, let's call a thing a thing. Even though Dorit has a point with this, what she said here is giving projection a little bit. Just saying. And so while this is happening, Sutton is sharing with the rest of the ladies, and this is like all the ladies who are there, about how, about her horse Santos, and she calls where Santos live at apartment. Santos' apartment, not the farm, his apartment. And then we have Sutton and Kim bonding over this and over the love of animals. And it was cute because it's like, man, Sutton and Kim, they're both equally just awkward and kind of weird. So it was kind of fun to see this. And I'm glad nothing was taken personal from what was said before, the episode before. Anyway, so then Nia out of nowhere brings up the Vegas thing in front of all the ladies to Sutton. And Sutton explains what happens, and she actually does own it and say like, hey, I did not like the head, the crotches the head and the crotches, between the crotches. And I ended up freaking out, and I ruined the trip for everyone. Thanks for bringing it up. I was like, everyone was just like, whoop. And so then Garcelle asked the obvious questions like, Nia, how'd you even know about it? Like, you weren't there. Which is kind of my point in beef with whenever someone brings up stuff when they're not there. And this kind of matters because, man, the hit dog will holler as far as overly bringing up something where you were not there for to bring it up. You can't. It's an annoying trait, and someone else does it just within this little area. But Nia, she doesn't state any names, but she mentioned how it was brought up though. And Sutton's annoyed about it. In her confessional, she states that she didn't want to be there. Like, she was not in a good headspace. And Dorit states that she had $51 bills and she was flashing them around. And Sutton states like, no, I was just doing that to be fun. Like, y'all should know that. She's stating that everyone's laughing because y'all should know by now I would be the last one who wants to see strippers. And Sutton, you're gonna die on this hill that's the reason why you reacted the way you did, aren't you? I still don't believe it all the way, but okay. says what she says, and out of nowhere, Dorit literally brings up Sutton making out with her driver in front of everyone. And it really was out of place and out of left field. And it was like, what the heck? It was one of those, because everyone was like, what? And then Garcelle chimes in and states, like, that was between her. She's like, that driver comment was between Kyle. Like, it was not Kyle. It was between a single girls. Like, that was a bonding moment between us girls. You weren't even there, you know. And she says, like, it seems like you literally said that to try and embarrass her. And, which I agree. I think Dorit was coming in too hot, trying to be. And again, I mentioned what I just mentioned before. My biggest pet peeve in Housewives is when people bring up something that they weren't even there to see. Mind your business. I know it's good for the show, but it's annoying. It just is. And so then Sutton's activated and states, like, the two more, like, Sutton gets mad immediately and she's activated. She's like, the two things aren't even related. Me making out with the driver and what happened at Magic Mike are not even related. And she's like, I think you were trying to embarrass me. So why did you bring that up? And then, child, Sutton in this repeating the lines. Why'd you bring it up? 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 Kyle, Erika, and Crystal and Jen, which is another one of Crystal's friends, is overhearing the argument, and Kyle in confessional is like, this is sounding very familiar. And then she doubles down because Dorit's getting frustrated. She's like, give me the chance to answer it, now answer it. And then Sutton's like, well, then answer it. Answer it. Answer it. Answer it. And then Dorit states in her confessional that it was a random driver. And that's why I'm confused here. And I stated earlier, because Sutton stated it's not a random driver at all. Like, she knows the driver. She became friends with this driver. Like, she actually knows this driver. So it being a show driver checks out probably the most if she doesn't have a personal driver. Because it sounds like from all the ladies, she does not have a personal driver. So it's a driver within the show. So if that's the case, then they all know the driver. Interesting. Anyway. So then Dorit backpedals and states that this was just a friendly banter. And this is my problem, because earlier on within the same event, they did the back and forth. But this is what I'll say. The back and forth before did not seem as mean-spirited because not everyone was involved. It was just like four of them talking. This time around, because literally they have the audience of the whole room, now it seems a little bit mean-spirited. And to me, I think that is the difference. And that's what Garcelle was seeing. That's what Sutton was seeing. And then that's even what I was seeing. And that would seem like you're trying to embarrass more than do friendly banter. So there's that. And so Garcelle states that it seems like you're trying to embarrass her. Dorit gets in her feelings again and says, like, why is it? And also, too, Dorit, I'm going to read you down. I'm so sick of you comparing things that aren't related and trying to make them related. For example, Sutton even gave you the example right away of trying to compare her making out with the driver versus Magic Mike. They're not the same. And in this case, she's like, Erika literally just blurted this thing out earlier on in the room. And then Garcelle didn't do anything about it. But now when it's me doing it, now you have a problem. And it's like, Erika, And Garcelle was right there when Erika did that, but it wasn't loud enough where everyone heard it. Because not everyone, there was no reaction or anything. It wasn't nothing where like the pin dropped or nothing. No, it was loud, but it wasn't really that loud. It was more like, it was more like that. It wasn't like announcement. It wasn't like that. And Dorit's making it sound like that's what Erika did, and that's not really what she did. And comparing it to what Dorit did, which seemed very intentional. Like, Erika seemed kind of like a fun, shady thing, kind of making fun. And the other difference is, Erika was there. So, it's okay for her to do it a little bit more because she was there. They were literally recapping their time together. When you do it, you weren't even there. You're doing it like second hand, third hand. It's giving thirst. So Dorit feels super attacked. And then Dorit goes with the stupid microaggression words again. And she's just like, I don't understand why you're attacking me, Garcelle. And for me, that is where she has lost me. Why did you decide to use that word attack, Dorit, to Garcelle? I know why. I feel like I know why you did that. And I've had to check some people who actually are no longer my friends on those kind of microaggression words. Because Garcelle was activated here. And I was like, I wasn't mad at it. I was like, thank you. Because I was very concerned that Garcelle was going to either start crying, because she has before, try to be vulnerable, or she was going to just let it go. Garcelle was on her neck on this one, and I was like, because at the end of the day, if you want to be treated right, you got to teach people how to treat you. If you're not going to be taught how you're going to treat me right, then you can be deuces, okay? And Garcelle here, she got her together, and I was like, yes. So Garcelle catches it immediately. She states like, this girl here, like, and she said it like, she's like, this girl right here. And she didn't, Garcelle in professional, she's just like, it's like she just wants to stay in this bubble. Like, it is 2023. We are woke. We're aware. What are you doing? And so, and she calls her out by using the word attack. She literally called her out and said it. Like, why did you use that word? Attack. She's like, I didn't attack you. Like, why are you using the word attack? And then Garcelle finally had her breaking point. No crying, just straight, no chaser. She's like, she finally stated her obvious problem that she's had with Dorit. The problem that all of us who's been watching how Dorit treats Garcelle has had. It's like, with you and your privilege, I can't. I was like, cleared. So Dorit seems shocked, and it's annoying that she seems super, super shocked. And she seems shocked, and she asks like, what does that mean? And then Erika even chimes in and speaks up, and she states the obvious. She's like, you're a white woman saying attack to a black woman. Like, what are you doing? You know? Okay. And so she's like, you know, the obvious, like kind of like saying like, as pretty much like, as like a, you know, as a white woman, you can't say attack to a black woman like that. Like when a white woman says it to a black woman, it comes off a certain way. She's like, it's just not okay to do that. Like, and she clarifies that, and like she doesn't really say it quite like that, like out loud, but she does check her. She pretty much checks Dorit like in front of the room with Garcelle. She had her back. which I was like, regardless if this is her doing this because it is a redemption season, to me it doesn't matter. That's kind of dope that she did that, because honestly it's moving things forward, and to me, in the right way. So I was proud that she did that, but it also stated something else, and it made it very obvious, and I'll get into that like very, very shortly. So then basically after, and then the other thing that Erika clarifies in her confessional, going more into detail, she states that she doesn't think Dorit meant to hurt Garcelle, but the problem is it does hurt Garcelle. I was like, this is what we've been saying this whole entire time. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't mean to hurt someone. If you hurt someone, just apologize and keep it pushing. The intent doesn't matter. I ain't gonna lie, this little scene, like, I was a little triggered by it. That's kind of why the energy is a little different here with that, because I've had this conversation multiple times in recent years, and it's pretty much since I lived on the north side of the city. Just saying. And anyway, we're not going to go into all that. Let's keep it pushing. And yeah, so then immediately now Dorit apologizes to Garcelle. And she only is apologizing to Garcelle because Erika chimed in. And it literally is that obvious. And I don't know how she doesn't realize that it's obvious, but we can see that that's the only reason why she apologized. If Erika wouldn't have called her out, we would have had the same back and forth that Dorit loves to do, where she turns it around on her, she gaslights her, and make it about her and make herself the victim. Because she's done it for multiple seasons. Like, my problem with this whole thing is like, this was a long time coming. This was a long time coming because Dorit has done this to Garcelle ever since she's been on the show. Like, this condescending, Karen-esque behavior towards Garcelle. So yeah, but anyway, Dorit apologizes and Garcelle's like, I'm done with it. I'm not, pretty much she's not accepting the apology. And I'm like, rightfully so, you shouldn't, because you're going to keep doing this over and over again because you are not going to learn your lesson. And then she's like, hopefully we can sit down and have a conversation about this. And she's like, I'm not here to educate you. And that's something you get fed up after a while. It's just a thing where you get fed up after a while. And with one of my relationships that ended, I'm not going to say whether it was romantic or not, that's where I was at with it. It's like, I'm not going to keep educating you on like your privilege. I'm not going to keep doing that. You're not going to keep using these microaggression words to me. Like, again, sometimes you have to teach people how to treat you. That's the only teaching I'm going to do. And by teaching you, I'm going to get you all the way together when you need to be put together. And that's on period. So then with that response, Dorit is like, she's playing dumb. And honestly, I feel like Dorit thinks we're dumb. I'm like, how are you going to gaslight the audience thinking we're dumb? Because now she's trying to state that, all she needed to do was just say that word triggers her and she would have just, listened to her. And it's like, we all know you would not have done that. There was even like, episode 3, when Garcelle was being the most human she could be, being vulnerable and all that to you all about how she wasn't comfortable sharing certain things in reference to like her family, like her kids. You didn't hear her. You made it about you. And even with this response, you're still making it about you. So Garcelle's answer is the only right answer at this point. Like, I'm done with it. I'm not going to continue going back and forth with someone who doesn't want to be accountable and is just too stuck in her own little bubble. Anyway, so then Kim out of nowhere breaks up the tension. She says, well, the food's good. Just out of nowhere. And then Crystal asks for like a recap. She says a download of what just happened. Dorit, for once has all the words to quickly explain things instead of milling about and running around. You know how normally Dorit is so long-winded? Because she got put together, she now finally can just sum it up what just happened. And Denise states in her funny way, like, well, the joke didn't land here. And what she was what Dorit recapped was what got them all the way to there. And that was the whole thing about Sutton and the driver is what got them there. So that's why Denise said what she said. And while all this is happening and the ladies this is breaking up the tenseness of the room, because that room was tense. Like, everyone's look on their faces like, the only person who wasn't fazed by it really was like Erika and like Sutton. Like, they were just like, it looked like they were kind of ready. They were ready to get, have her back. And honestly, if this redemption arc of Erika, I hope the Garcelle part of it is real. I'm going to say that. Because whether this is her storyline for redemption, I am so glad that because she chimed in, what they tried to pretend wasn't obvious, they made it obvious by her chiming in. That, so you only will listen to Garcelle when she's backed by a white woman. Got it. Anyway, so then Sutton's asking, the ladies who weren't there. So that was like Crystal, Erika, Kim, and Kyle, where they were. And Erika states that they were conspiring in the kitchen. And so I was like, God, I hope not. Because Sutton's been getting attacked. But not really all the way. Like, also Garcelle's been getting attacked high key as well. And so she finally put an end to that. And then, dang, after that, then out of nowhere, Dorit then tries to come at Crystal about the vodka comment and the coffee thing. And it's just like, the vodka and coffee thing happened like in episode 3. We're in episode 9. Stop it. And this is the other thing that's always been my problem with Dorit. She does not know how to move forward. And it's an annoying kind of move forward. Like, she brings things up over and over and over again. It's like the coffee and vodka thing has been settled. No one cares about it anymore. Sutton hasn't brought it up again, so why are you bringing it up? Oh, because you don't have a storyline. Got it. Anyway, so then Crystal does try to clear it up, but kind of stumbles a little bit. She's like, I want to get what I want to get what I said right. And Sutton pretty much chimes in out of nowhere. And basically, without saying it, she literally calls everyone who's been talking behind her back a hater. And she's just going to rise above you all. And you're just going to be back there while she rises above you all. And I was like, where's the speech? So where's the speech coming from? So everyone's looking at her like she's kind of crazy. Because they're just like, did you just read me down? Like, what did I do catch a stray? So everyone's kind of like, so... Because when she said that, it did come off a little elitist. I'm like, girl. Girl. So then after that, then Denise chimes in and states that Dorit's commentary comes off judgmental. And it does. And then Dorit asks if Denise has cleared up things with Erika. And Erika, in her confessional's like, oh my gosh, she is being such a pot stirrer right now. And she's like, I don't want to fight with Denise. But okay. Because for those who don't know, Erika, the only reason why Erika wasn't fighting people is because she said she gave up fighting for Lent. And they joked about it at the girls' night out, the single ladies' night out, that Lent will be over with when Taco Tuesday happens. So Lent's over. She's like, okay. I was like, oh my God. And then, but it's so bad because it's like, Dorit, what's going on with you? You're bringing up everyone else's business that you're not even, it's not even related to you, but you're bringing up everyone else's business. And then Denise sees it too and states to Dorit, like, you need to bring it down a notch. Like, I don't know what you're doing, but it's team too much. Like, which it was. Because she literally went from one person to the other, to the other, to the other. And it was just messy. It was out of place. It didn't really flow. It gave desperation, my job's on the line, and I'm the only pot stirrer that needs to be in this room energy. It was weird. So then Dorit decides to leave. And so she leaves. So she basically did all that and then she leaves. And you think that's how things ended? Y'all know it didn't. So Erika forces Dorit to like hug her before she leaves. But she gets out of there in a hurry. After basically putting gasoline all over that place and then she leaves. And then Denise notices that she didn't even get a goodbye from her. She's like, I didn't even get a goodbye from Dorit. Well, dang. And then Dorit then states that she did want to have a conversation with Erika. But Erika's like, I really don't want to have this conversation with you. And we find out that after the fact, Kyle actually has done her producing thing and has stirred the pot a little bit more. So we didn't know this, but we didn't know that Erika knew the things that Denise said about her at the party. But the thing is, she said this at the party. Y'all saw how bad Denise was. Denise, I don't even think, if it wasn't for this being filmed, I don't think Denise even knew where she was. She was so out of it. So I wouldn't take anything that Denise was saying at the party, other than the fact that she has an issue with you, that seriously. But, because, and then Kyle, even with her stirring the pot, said that, said that Denise, called her like a bot, see you next Tuesday. And I was like, what is a bot, see you next Tuesday? And not, y'all know what that is. And that's not what she said. She didn't say, I mean, she did call her a B, but it wasn't that weird thing that she said. And so Kyle's like, oops. I mean, I remembered it wrong, but she still did say something about her. So there's that. Oops. So she's kind of like shrugs. And so that adds a little more context. Like, oh, this is why Erika's about to come in hot on her because she didn't know. Because for those who didn't see that episode, Erika actually already apologized to her about it, but then Denise sells things after she apologized. So I think from Erika's standpoint, she thought it was buried. It was done. Like, there's no reason to go in on me. And then, so Denise states that her issue with Erika is that her comment about threesomes. Because I actually panned back to what Erika said, which, by the way, it's giving you're trying to get back on the show, Denise. I'm going to say that. It's giving a reach. It's giving a reach. Because the episode after that party, you said it was a different reason. And now you're saying it's another reason. please make it make sense? Why are you really mad at this lady? Or are you mad at the lady who's no longer there and this is the closest you're going to get to like going off on that lady? But anyway, so yeah, she states that, and Erika, to her, in her defense, she was like, no, I wasn't really talking about your daughter in a derogatory way, that she's like, you know, anything like that. She's just saying, like, with everyone having a phone as kids, you know, you're going to know more of what's going on than most kids back in our day, when it comes to like the adult variety, when it comes to the threesomes of it all or whatnot, because the daughter they're talking about is her 14-year-old daughter. And Denise is like, but it's my daughter. So Denise, with her issues and how she's making it sound like that Erika literally directly attacked her daughter. What, like, similar to what Erika actually truly did to Garcelle. And that's not what Erika did. It wasn't the same thing at all. So there's that. And so then Erika's like, your oldest daughter does OnlyFans. Does your 14-year-old daughter know about that? That your oldest daughter is doing OnlyFans? And then Denise immediately gets mad. She's like, that was a low blow for you. Bring that up. And basically they start going back and forth here. And like Denise, all I think Denise kept saying, because Erika's like, what, you didn't think I was going to bring that up? If you think I'm so mean, well, yeah, I'm mean. Like, this isn't like off brand of me. I'm going to bring that up. Like, hello. And she's like, you're so mean. She just kept saying, you're so mean. You're so mean. And she's like, well, when you had the issue with me and you stated the issue, you had the opportunity at that dinner to state your problem with me, but you couldn't get your words together. You were slurring this, like, basically just read her for filth of the obvious, because she was a hot mess at that party. It was embarrassing. And she's like, that was your opportunity to read me down. Like, and you didn't use the opportunity. You wanted, and so the way it reads for me is that Erika's like saying, you wanted this moment and now I'm giving it to you. Here you go. You want it, and I don't know why Denise wanted it, because I don't think that's what she wanted. Because, like, based off of how it ended, because how it concluded, Erika kind of got you on that one, how it concluded. But it did actually end as a to be continued. So we're going to see another round of this come the beginning of the next episode. But anyway, that does conclude the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I am enjoying the season so far, but again, I'm going to just reiterate, Annamarie, I don't think she needs to be on the show again. I think she could just be one season and be gone. She's not really bringing anything to the show. Dorit, I think she needs to be put on pause or let go, or even just become a friend of, because I'm not going to lie, Dorit triggers me. I'll just say that, because of like the way she treats Garcelle. Me as a black woman, I've actually had that happen to me, and it never feels good. Like, to be treated differently just because of this, and to be using buzzwords, and you know what those words mean. Like, I find it hard to believe that she'll know what she's doing, because I feel like most people who do that, they be knowing what they're doing and they try to play dumb. Like, at least that's my experience. It's like, okay, so you're just gonna, and it's very, I don't know, I don't like it. So that's why I say that, because normally I wouldn't be for someone losing their job or losing their income, but I also don't mess with racism either. So there's that. Like, if you're going to give some like aggressive, like not really aggressive, but like microaggressions that comes off very, racist, I'm never going to be here for that. And then Crystal, I don't know. Like, I want to like her, but she doesn't really bring much to the show either. But honestly, if it's a battle of the pot stars, I'll take Crystal over Dorit. And Crystal can bring the fashions, and she also can bring wealth and youth. So there's that. But anyway, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and I will see you next time. Bye.